Are we live now? Yeah, we live. All right, what up, though, y'all? Happy Thursday to you. Had to do it today because tomorrow I'm going to the LL Cool J concert, so
I'm
I
gonna be
will
there
be
too.
available. Huh?
I'm gonna be there too.
Bet you got you a doobie rope?
I got all of that. You
I'm
know,
trying to find me a Adidas fit.
yeah. So it's funny because like one of the guys, they got a suite. One of the lenders I work with,
Hmm.
and I realized how old I was because he was like, "Yeah, all my friends only know LL as an actor," and he was like, "Obviously, he's a better actor than a rapper," and I'm like, "What?"
I
Like,
beg your pardon?
I'm like, you got it reversed. I had to tell him like LL was the Drake of his time. He was like Jay Z before Jay Z to give him an
Right.
idea how big.
LL, like one of the original, he was the first, what, Def Jam artist too, wasn't he?
Yeah. So Def Jam had T La Rock, but LL was the first artist that actually sold gold and went platinum and all of that. And
Man, all
then
of that is crazy that you right. They probably do only know him as an actor. Probably the same with Ice T too.
yep, yep.
That's funny, but I'm gonna be there. It's supposed to be him, MC Light, Bone gonna be there. Man, I'm about to be living my whole high school, middle school.
Yep. So yeah,
But
let's go.
all right, y'all. So what up, though? Thursdays. Today I got my boy Reggie P. As always, every year I like to bring him on to talk about the Wayne County tax auction. If you came to Dana's day, I think it's called a day with Dana event that me and Ken spoke at this past weekend. We talked about the tax auction. So this would be a little bit more in depth because I personally never bidded at the auction. I know clients who have. I know Reggie has, and he has for his clients too. So this is what we talking about. I don't have no church announcements. I might do my real estate speed dating event again next month. I got to talk to the Detroit Pizza Bar to see what days they got available and go from there. This year I'm gonna do it a little different. The It's gonna be free, but you have to spend at least $15-$20 with the event space we have it at, and you also need to bring a gently used suitcase or like duffel bag, luggage set, or something like that, so we can donate it to some black and brown on foster care places. Because I had read an article years ago that said when kids move from place to place, they got to put all their stuff in garbage bags, and I'm like, that's kind of jacked up. So that's what we gonna do it for this time. So that'd be dope. Detroit Real Estate Weekend was canceled this year because I had actual deadlines to meet because these venues are not playing no more. They would normally give you longer times to get your deposit back, and I had a deadline to meet to get my deposits back. I didn't sell enough tickets, so it got canceled. So if I bring it back next year, that might be the last year, and I'll just probably start selling tickets in January, probably. But you got any announcements, Red?
No, let's get to the money.
Okay.
For any agents out there, let me look at the date. There's 100 Black Agents event coming up in September. I'll be one of the speakers. It's at United Wholesale Mortgage is doing it. It's going to be at United Wholesale Mortgage headquarters. Let me grab this date for you real quick. But it's going to be September 7th. So you can look up. Just you should be able to Google 100 Black Agents, and it should come up. The event should come up. If not, I'll post something or send it to Asia to post. So
That's in Detroit or somewhere else.
yeah, so their headquarters is in Pontiac.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yep.
Do
So
you
it
got
is.
to be an agent to attend?
Mm-mm. You can just come network, get the knowledge.
Do I
Yep.
got to put clothes on? I got to dress up?
That's up to you. That's up to you. But yeah, come out network. If you're a contractor, if you're just in a real estate business in general, you should attend and just come out network.
That's what's up. That's the only one. Or you got something else?
That's it. Going to see LL tomorrow. Get busy.
Period. I'm so hyped. I don't
All
prepay for
right.
parking. I've been listening to all LL music all week. I'm ready.
I went to that the one a few weeks ago with Dougie Fresh and Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, and all of them.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I see 50 coming here. I might go see 50.
Yeah, that one was dope because they had a bunch of the top Detroit artists from the past. So
Mm.
they had like Stretch Money, Mercer Samir, Chaos from Chaos and Maestro, Detroit's Most Wanted. They had them all do like a melody. They did like a melody of their song, "Drunken Master," 50
What?
players deep. Yeah, it was dope.
I
Yo.
love it. I would have went to that. I was gonna go see Rod Bass Friday at the River Soul Festival, but it stormed. And
Oh
they kept
yeah,
talking about it was supposed to hail and stuff, but they said it didn't storm till he got done. I was like, I'd be damn, I go down there and get hailed
yeah.
on.
No, you don't want that problem.
I'm like, ain't nobody live or nothing, so I can watch it from my phone. I had the VIP and everything. I'm like, man.
That's crazy.
All right, well, we can get started. I put the links in the comments for the actual tax auction site and for the tax site where you can go online and pay your taxes as well. So, you want to start or you want me to start?
You can start.
All right, let me share my screen. Present screen. All right, y'all. So here is the screen or the website for the Wayne County Treasurer Tax Auction. The website is Wayne County Treasurer mi.com. No, yeah, mi.com/home. Or it should just finish it for you. So the properties became available on the 15th, which was what was that, Tuesday?
Yep, 2 days ago, Tuesday. Yep.
Yep. You can start registration at 9 a.m. on the 15th, and you can register all the way to September 12th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Deposits are open during that same time as well. Online bidding starts September 11th at 9 a.m., and then we'll start closing between the 20th and the 21st.
Yep. So they do them in batches. So they close. They have a batch of properties. They close them out. Then they close out the next batch. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll start seeing them close out at that time.
All right, to bid on one property, you have to put a deposit up of $2,500, right?
Yep.
With including a non-refundable registration fee of $50. So is that 2550 or 2500 total?
2550.
Okay. And then if you want to bid on more than one property, you have to put up $10,000 with the same non-refundable fee of $50. So that's $10,050.
Right.
A property identified as a premium property may require a deposit of 25,000 with a non-refundable registration fee of 50. So what would they consider premium, like Rosedale Park or something?
Yeah, premium probably has more to do with price point and location. So maybe like an Indian Village or a lot of your commercial properties. Like so you probably won't see too many premium properties in the tax auction. Residential, most of them will be commercial. But yeah, you're
Mhm.
gonna you're gonna have a few on there, but mostly you're gonna have them being commercial properties.
Okay. Um, if you are unsuccessful at bidding, you will be refunded only the deposit, and of course, registration fee is non-refundable. I guess they got that on here a lot because somebody probably tried it.
Yep. And and the one thing too, you got to keep in mind once you put your deposit up and you register, that money, if you don't bid, like let's say you bid in the September auction and you don't want to bid in the October auction, you got to notify them. I forgot what the cutoff date is, but they'll tell you you have to notify them. If not, they're going to keep your money into the October auction because they're assuming that you're going to bid in October as well if you didn't win anything in September.
Yep. All right. What else? What else? To view an individual property, click on search or all batches at the top of the page. In order to download a full or partial property list, you must first register and go to your account. Winning bidders will have to submit, in addition to the winning bid amount, the estimated summer taxes due for 2023. Has that always been like that?
Yep. So that's what a lot of people don't know. When you win a bid, so your summer taxes were technically due and your winter taxes are coming up in December. You are paying the current year taxes in addition to your bid amount.
I don't think a lot of people know that.
That's why they got to watch this.
Facts. All right. Question: what type of deed do you obtain if you win the bid?
A quick claim deed. Not
What
quick, but
I'm
quick.
about to do Emma like quick.
Right. And they don't make any guarantees, no nothing. Check with the city to make sure it's not on a demo list. check to make sure there's no blights or anything like that. The city will work with you. Just let them know, hey, I'm buying this property in a tax sale. They're going to give you, you can get the demolition deferred, but you have to meet criteria like the property has to be secure and boarded. So it can't be open for trespass. Of course, you're going to have the taxes current and just keep the grass and stuff cut. And let the city know, like, just keep in touch with them as far as your process on renovating the property, and they'll defer the demolition.
Yeah, I had clients found out that their house was on the demo list when I got ready to go pull the permit, and they had purchased them from the land bank. So it's
Yeah,
like they don't be talking to each other. That's what it sounded like to me.
yeah. Don't assume the county and the city is communicating on anything. Like, you have to go in and take that extra step.
Hmm.
Even with the water bill, I know we mentioned it before, but when you close on the property, the minute you get that deed, contact the water department. They're gonna want your ID, social, or your EIN number and a copy of the deed. Let them know you got it from the county, and then they'll zero out that water bill, and that way you can. I would just order a new meter too at that time.
Hmm. All right. Also, it's an affidavit. I believe you got to sign this, but I don't see nothing about no notary.
No, it. You don't sign it. I think they just when you register, it's kind of like included. But the
Hmm.
affidavit, one of the biggest things in the affidavit is that you cannot own or have ownership interest in a property that currently has delinquent property taxes in Wayne County. Now, how they will find out if you got the property in your individual name, yep. But if you're a partner and maybe like an LLC or something like that, I don't know how far they'll go to investigate it, but you just don't want to be that person to find out, right?
Right.
So, and then the other thing is if you owe any blight notices or anything like that, the affidavit to the city or the county, they're gonna any city within the county, they're gonna forbid you from bidding on the properties.
Okay. What is blight for those that may not know?
Blight notices. So you own properties and you just pretty much letting it go to crap. You got garbage out front, the grass overgrown, windows busted, and the city came out and gave you a blight ticket to clean it up, and you didn't pay the ticket. So now you got a bunch of blight violations on your name and on your properties. And now you want to bid and buy more properties, and the county is like, no, you ain't cleaned up the mess you got.
Right.
So in line on this is a criminal. I forgot what the. I can look it up in a minute, but I think it's some type of they can file criminal perjury charges against you.
Yeah, I was reading this here. It said,
Yeah,
property, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, delinquent taxes, purchase, submitted, blah, blah, blah. It don't say.
yeah. Anytime they don't say the exact dollar amount or the exact fine or penalty or prison time, you got to be real scared of that because that it's like open ended. I just wouldn't play around with it. So if you plan on buying any of these properties, just make sure all your taxes and your blight notices are paid on your other properties.
Mm-hmm. All right, so on that same link I put in the comments, y'all, if you scroll down, you can see how many properties in each city in Wayne County is up for sale or auction. So I'm not gonna read all these, but y'all see it's a lot. But Detroit, of course, is always gonna typically have the most properties,
Right.
parcels. So Detroit got 2,543. That's just this year. The ones that didn't sell the last 2 years, I believe, are also available for purchase in this. Is that right?
Yeah, and they got a list of what properties sold last year and which ones didn't.
So
Um,
if you want something that's off the list that didn't sell, what do you have to do?
just click. I think they're going to include them in this auction as well, so it'll be included in this batch.
Okay. All right. So go ahead.
Thing I tell people too, make sure you check in the site daily. So like if you're interested in the property, you might go back to the site the next day to bid on it, and it's not there because they have a number of reasons why they will remove it from the auction. So they can remove it even after you bid it on the property. So just make sure you check in the site. They will notify you if you're the winning bidder, and for some reason they can't go through with the sale.
All right. So some like Detroit, of course, is great. Allen Park, you got Belleville. There's only two. There's only a couple there. Canton, Dearborn Heights. I think Redford, yeah, Redford on here. River Rouge, Rockwood. That's downriver down there.
Yep.
Romulus, that's the airport for those who not from here. That's around the airport. Sumter Township, Taylor, Trenton, Van Buren, Wayne, Westland, Wyandotte. And then over here they got it broke down. Oh, these are more.
Yep.
Lavinia, Plymouth, and then Detroit they got all the zip codes. So out of these zip codes, 48214 on here, that's my zip code. That's a hot one. 48215, depending on what parts you own, because that could be Jefferson Chalmers, or that could be Mac in like by the Chrysler plant. I think that's 48215.
A folding chair said my side chick house on there.
Oh well,
I
run it
think
up.
I'm thinking it must not be that good if he let her house get foreclosed.
Right, because they're
Or
like, we
a
broke
couple
up. Shit, I
houses.
take the house.
Right. Um, what Trilly the Great? Yeah. Are the auction rules the same county-wide, or does it? No, it's county. It has nothing to do with the city. But depending on what city you're bidding in, you also need to check with that city for their individual blight notices and code requirements and things of that nature. Like if they're going to require you to register the property as a vacant property, because some cities have a vacant property registration, so they'll know who to contact
Yep,
in case of emergency, or they know who to send those blight tickets to.
yep. All right, some other good ones in here. My favorite, the North End 48202 on here. Highland Park popping too. People have been sleeping on that for years, but it
Yeah.
was inevitable to happen over there because Highland Park is a city within Detroit, and it's right outside of Boston Edison Arden Park. So that was always a good one because you can get Boston Edison Highland Arden Park size house depending on what side of Woodbury you on, but not pay that much. But now it's starting to get there. 48206. That's Davidson Linwood. What's the other street? Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter.
What's some more good ones on here?
You
40.
could get Russell Woods over in that zip code.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then you got 48211. That's over by the Packer plant.
Hmm.
Let me see what else. You see any more on here?
Um, so you got like the East English Village, like that 48224.
It's 106 over there.
Yep. But you gotta be careful because the East English Village and what is it, Morningside, is
Yeah,
like a small part of that neighborhood. So don't just assume the whole zip code is it, but it's just pockets of each zip code. When you go, you'll know the difference if you ride through the zip code. You could tell the difference from the good neighborhoods from the ones that are not.
yeah. But they still gonna rent over there, and majority over there is brick. It's some frames too, especially in 224. When you get closer to what's that Harper Woods? Like when you get
Yep.
Moross,
Bama
McCormick.
Ross. Yep.
Yeah.
Chester, Cashew over there.
Mm-hmm. What's another good one on here? 48219. That's the west side. Uh, they got Harper Woods on here.
Yeah, I want you. We was talking about something earlier, so especially for people that's out of town, Wayne County. What you say? Wayne County is not just Detroit, right? So this list to show you all the cities that's included, because a lot of people just associate Wayne County with Detroit.
Mm-hmm. We got a question. Can you buy houses with a company name if you owe taxes with your personal name on the property?
You can try it, but we just told you that. But you can buy it in your company name, but the affidavit specifically states if you have any ownership interest, and they got wording on here, they got some legal term, but technically the legal term says very small interest, right? So even if you only own 5% of the company, and that company owns a house, then technically, and you owe taxes or blight notices, then you still have to comply with the affidavit. But yeah, people do it. I'm just not going to advise you to do it because I don't have no bail money.
Right. Then you're gonna be like, they said on What Up Doe Friday that you can
Yep.
ABC. Nope, disclaimer.
I was on What Up Though Fridays on Thursday, and they told me like you was listening on the wrong day.
Right. Exactly. Like so disclaimer, this is informational purposes only.
Yeah, read and do your due diligence.
Please do your own work. So here's the actual affidavit. It's six points on here, but yeah, it's no price on here. Nothing about time. So like Reggie said, that just leaves it open for them to give you 10 to life if they want to.
Because here's how some people think about it, right? So like we got this in real estate, they got this rule like if you advertise, you got to have your company logo has to be equal or greater than your name. So you see people with billboards and all of that, and
Mm,
you like, I don't even know who they work for, right? I don't know what company they're affiliated with. But there's a set fine for that, and it might be like a couple $1,000s, right? So some people would be like, oh, if the fine only a couple thousand, but I'm making 20,000 a month off the billboard, I'll just pay the $2,000 fine, right?
mm.
But if the fine was open ended and it didn't have no limit or no specified amount, you would rethink that, right? So I tell people when you see documents like that and they can charge you and they don't specify what the penalty is, then I definitely wouldn't take a risk at it. So
All right, we got a question. How long does it take to find out if you won the house or not?
you'll know once they close the batch out because they're gonna close them all out at the same time.
I do tell people don't just be bidding to be bidding. You
No.
might be winning today and done lost tomorrow. It's just like eBay. Bid the last probably what hour maybe.
Yeah, because sometime if you bid like within the last 5 minutes, they'll extend the time. So like if the bid cutoff is like 4 o'clock and somebody come in at 3:57, they had a right to extend that time. So you're not guaranteed to be the highest bidder. But I will tell you they will allow you to do like a proxy bid. And I kind of recommend this too for people so you don't get all caught up in your emotions. Like what happens is, so if the house is under like 10,000, usually the increments is $100. So the highest bid is 500. You have to bid 5,100, right? But if you set your budget, assuming this house is worst case scenario, you set your budget at $9,000, and somebody bid 9,100. In your mind, you like, oh, it's only an extra $200, right? And then that turns into an extra $800. Next thing you know, you up to $12,000 because somebody keep going back and forth. Well, you can set a limit, and the system will keep bidding for you. So you can set a limit for like 9,000, and every time somebody bids 6,000, it'll automatically bid it up for you. Once it get to 9,000, it'll stop, right? And if you don't win it, sometimes you got to be comfortable with walking away because that extra $100 should keep adding up. And next thing you know, you 15,000 in that boy, then you see it and it costs you an extra 20,000 to fix it up, more than what you expected. So now you didn't made a bad investment.
I want to touch on that real quick. I don't think a lot of people understand that when you purchase a house, it don't just stop there. It's so much other stuff you got to pay for. You got to pay for insurance. If somebody living there, you got to evict them, so that's cost. You got to pay to keep the property secure. You got to pay water, taxes, insurance, cutting the grass. It's been raining like hell here this summer. Do you know how much I done cut grass this summer? Like,
Yep,
and on top of that, when the winter time comes, now you got to shovel the snow. You got to put salt down. And every time it snows, which could be four, five, 6 times in a week, three, 4 times in a day, you got to shovel the snow.
yep,
That
8 inches of
adds up.
snow.
Right. And you got to do it every time because if you let it pile up, they going to really charge you, whoever, at least I am.
Right. And
But
as soon as you get the water on, even though you're not using water, they still gonna charge you sewage charges.
yeah, don't be like me and had I had Marcus do the title search on my Parker one from years ago.
Right,
And even I think Emma did it too, and no water came up. So last
right,
year, since we was trying to sell it, I had the water company come out. It's like a $6,000 water bill on there now. I'm like, how y'all?
right.
We went through this back in 19, but
Yep,
see, it's still my fault because I did a quick claim and not a warranty. If I would have did a warranty, I would have been covered. But since everything came back clear, I went on and did a quick claim.
yep.
So now they talking about sewer. Ain't no $6,000 worth of sewer, ma'am.
Yeah, just keep adding up, and then they be sometimes they'll estimate your bills. So that's why I say when you buy one of these properties, take the deed to the water department, get your account set up with a new account, make sure they zero it out, and have them install a brand new meter. This way they can't come back and be like, oh, we've been estimating the read or the meter was faulty or whatever. You start from zero, brand new meter. And if that meter is not moving, the only thing they can charge you for is sewer.
Yeah, because I had the water department come out. The tech ain't even going out because the house vacant. He like,
Yeah,
I don't need to go in there. He's like, all right, we straight. And then I get this bill with the other lady name on there instead of mine. So do I
yep.
need to do that too?
Yeah, you need to get a new. So the city a few years ago, so before all the water bills were directly just attached to the property, it may have had your name on it for billing purposes, but that account was associated with that property. The only time you would get different account number is if somebody filed for bankruptcy, so they set up a new account for it because they was holding off the old account because they didn't want to. It probably was included in the bankruptcy, and then or a tenant account, right? So you will notice the last digits is 300, 301, 305, or something like that. Those identify the type of accounts. So if you're a new homeowner, when you go in, usually they won't let you get a new account number until the previous balance is paid. But since you brought it from the auction, you show them your deed, you set up a brand new account. They should zero out that past due bill and then make sure you have them install a new meter, right? Because without a meter, or if you got an old faulty meter, they're just going to estimate your bills, right? And if you have a old account on there since you zeroed it out, because usually the past due water bill was getting transferred to the property taxes. Well, you just brought it from tax foreclosure, so that should all zero out, right? So I just tell people as soon as you get the deed, go handle that water bill right away.
But I wonder will they do that for me because it's still in Miss Ruby name, even
Yeah,
though
you should take your deed, but they gonna charge you from the date of the deed.
right, which was 2019 for sewer, but it still shouldn't be no six
No,
seven.
it shouldn't be 6,000. It should only be like maybe $20 or $30 a month or something like that, if that.
Yeah, because I remember I called and they sent that bill and that was that, and I just was like, so I guess I just got to eat 6 grand because if I do get a buyer, they gonna want a warranty deed, and
Yeah,
they
you need to fight that now before you even get to that point.
yeah, I made a note. I'm calling them in the morning.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I can email. I think I got the email. Oh, we got some questions. Does the deposit go toward the bid before or after the auction if you win?
Yeah, it's gonna go towards once you win the bid and they're closing it out, you're gonna have I think it's what 2 days to get the balance of the money in. That deposit applies towards it. So if the bid was 10,000, you got 2,500 on deposit, you got 7,500 plus whatever fees and stuff added. So yeah, it applies towards the total purchase price.
All right. I just looked up the email. So this was September of last year. So the War Department said that this request does not remove the balance responsibility from the current account holder and does not release or affect DWSD's lien or ability to lien the property. Please ensure both the seller and buyer contact us to close the account for the seller and establish a new account for the buyer. So is that what you were saying?
Yeah, but yep. So you got to establish a new account, but that lien gonna stay on there because you when you brought it from her, you supposed to make sure that account was paid to zero.
So I still got to pay that when I get ready to sell it.
Yeah, because if you would have used a title company to actually close it, then that would have came up because they would have did a water bill search as well, and then that they would have either made her pay it or you would have signed a whole harmless stating you were going to assume responsibility for that. But prior to closing, you would have ordered a final water read to make sure that bill was an accurate read because a lot of times with vacant properties, since they couldn't get in them and they had older meters, they would just estimate the bill. So let's say you got a big 4 bedroom, 2,500 square feet home, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the average bill is, I don't know, $80 a month, $100 a month. The people move out. It's an older meter. The reason I say older meter because the new meters they can actually read them electronically from the office. So it's an older meter. The water department hasn't been in that property for a year. Whatever that bill was from the last time they read it, they're going to keep estimating that as the same usage, even though the property is vacant, because they can't tell what the actual meter is doing. So they'll estimate it. When they finally come out and read it, they'll correct the bill. But the problem is, like if you got a full rehab, a lot of times the meter is gone or is disconnected because somebody stole the plumbing, right? So if they come out and see that, they're gonna be like, "Oh, it probably was some water usage. It just wasn't going through the meter, right?" So it's gonna be hard to fight it at that point.
All right, so I need to call them, still get it put in my name. I'm still gonna have to probably eat that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
in
to.
your situation, you probably gonna have to eat it.
So if I gotta eat it, ain't no point in me putting it in my company name.
Um, yeah, but you should still switch it over and
All
get
right.
a new meter. Because if you look at the water history, it's going to say actual read estimate. If you got more than 8 or 10 estimates on your water bill history, I guarantee it's wrong, especially on a vacant house.
So this is what they charge me. They got a 76 cent late fee. Oh, let me share this tab. I don't want to show the lady name, but let me scroll up. There we go. All right, this is funny. So the late fee is 76 cent. Unrecovered meter charge 165. Real estate closing fee $40. MIUERT damage replacement
They
165.
did a real estate, yeah, they did a closing read on it though. So that means this bill is accurate. And then you see the beginning read date, and then
Hold on, where that's at?
yeah, so they actually read this in the end read they actually read this meter somehow. So it might be a newer meter in there if and they reading it from their office. And then you see where the hold on. You see where it say usage and it say 0 CCF?
Yeah.
That means it hasn't is no water usage, but it was sewage usage, right? So a lot of this is just the previous balance. So if you look up a previous bill, they're gonna have information on there. And if you request a water history, it'll show you how many actual reads versus estimated reads.
I wonder can I pull it up online with the account number?
Yeah, you should be able to go to their website and pull it up.
I'm about to look right now.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on, what's this account number? Is it on here? Oh, there you go. I'm sure about to look. So y'all got to make sure y'all do this too for probably because y'all can just call the water department. The water department is 313-267-8000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And keep in mind, so when I was saying about the water bill, it used to just be a lien against the property, and it still is, but they were billing it based on the property. Now, when you get water service, they want like your social security, EIN, and all of that, and that bill is going to follow you. They technically leave it on the property, but each individual that has that account is going to have their own account number. So a tenant may have an account number and the landlord may have an account number for the same property. Once the tenant moves out in service, they're just going to switch all new usage back over to the landlord.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me see. So do I got? I wonder do I got to do this as a guest? Cause I'm already logged into my Detroit Property Shop account.
You might have to do it as a guest because if she had it under her name, then the only thing you might be able to do is do a payment on there if you got the account number.
Yeah, I got. It. I'm about to see. So I don't think you put none of the dots and all that in. 300. Why I say balance zero? Hold on. What the hell? Let me
Is
share.
it the same account number?
Yeah, I put the account number that was on the bill.
When did you get that? When did you get that? Because they probably rolled it over to the property taxes. How old is that bill you just had?
A year, almost a year. It say,
Yeah, they probably rolled it over to the property taxes.
but my tax is still the same because I
It
just
probably haven't. It probably won't hit until the either the December bill or next year bill if
uh,
they just did it. Yeah.
they some 304s, bro. Y'all not gonna stress me, City of Detroit Order Department. That's what we not gonna do. Cause this boy do say, let me share my screen. This boy say $0. I'm like, hold up.
Yep.
And I'm glad y'all get to see this, so y'all can see that this is really what we be doing. Like we got to go through the same stuff y'all go through. See that boy say $0.
Yep. So that bill probably rolled over to the property taxes.
So I do. I'm gonna still call them
Yeah.
and switch to a new meter still, even though ain't no water, ain't
Yeah.
nothing in there.
Always get a new meter because if not, they're gonna estimate you to death.
You ain't lying. 'Cause man, you should see the email I sent back. I know they was sick of me.
Yep. They're gonna.
So look, this is what I said. I was like, it ain't no way I owe this. When I bought this in 2019, there was no balance, which is true because I called. Marcus called. Emma verified.
Yeah. Was it that account number though?
I don't remember that. That I don't remember.
Because you can call on a property and sometimes they'll only give you the balance due on one account number for that property.
True.
You gotta be thorough. Like, is there any account numbers associated with this property that have a balance due?
Oh, do you know anybody work at the water department? Because that would be a good person to come talk.
I know a couple people they won't speak publicly though.
Can we block their face out?
Probably so. Mr. Brown, he used to come to. It was a guy, Mr. Brown. He used to come to some of the Detroit board events,
Mr.
and
Brown sound like he about 62.
yeah, that's the problem. He probably retired now. But yeah, I'll reach out. It's one young lady I know there, but
We can
yeah,
she can turn her camera off. She ain't got her camera on.
yeah, I'll reach out to her.
We can call her is she our color or this color?
Yeah, she our color.
So we can call her Janet Doe.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, I'll reach out to her. I'll make sure she's still working there because they were driving her crazy.
Or Lakeisha Doe. There
Yep,
Lakeisha Jenkins. There we go.
yep.
All right, we got a question. How much is a new gas meter for DTE to install? I don't think I paid for my last one because
Yeah,
they right now moving them all from the basements to outside. What I did have to pay for was if a house has been vacant more than 2 years in Detroit, which majority of these are, they are making you run all your power lines underground. I was mad at first, but that power outage we had this summer
yep,
on Bath, my house on Bath was the only house with power.
yep. And they'll charge you like a reconnection fee or something like that, but they not charging you like per
Yeah,
meter.
it was like $800 some dollars for them to run it underground. But I wonder, can I just pay to do that on my mama house and I live there? Because I pay that a some.
Right. And then the other thing is, so if the house had, let's say you buy one of these properties and it got a squatter in there, check with DTE to see if they got the utilities on legally or not. Because
Right.
if they're on illegally, and it might have a theft block on it by the time you get access to the property and get them out. So with that, you got to go through some extra steps. So as soon as you get that deed, contact DTE and say, "Hey, I brought this property, but it has people in it." And legally, the way the county has it, you have to treat the occupants as holdover tenants, not as squatters. So
Mm.
you have to still go through the legal eviction process.
Now, before you do that, you can go up to them and ask them like, "Hey, would you like to become a tenant?" Right? Or
Yeah, or offer them cash for keys.
most of the time they're gonna take that cash because they need money to move.
Yeah, and if they've been living there for free, and a lot of times they haven't been fixing the property up or nothing, unless they think they own it. They probably not use, a lot of times they don't have the money to pay you the current rental rate. But I've done it before on properties I brought. I left the person in there, and I charged them way below market value, and I said, look, you got 6 months to get on your feet. I'm gonna have you pay 400 a month, but we need to work on all the exterior, and I'll let you know when we come in on the inside, because I wanted to start work on the exterior, the roof and all the siding before the winter time, and I didn't want to leave the property vacant.
Yeah,
But
so that helped you out too then.
yeah, for about 2 months, and then she stopped paying because her mother lived next door. Then I found out she let the lights get cut off, and she was running extension cords and all that, and I was like, yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah, that's a fire hazard waiting to happen.
Yeah, but sometime it works, sometime it don't.
All right, we got another question. So, are these properties, do they have a high ARV? Some you might get lucky.
Yeah, you gotta. So when you go through that list, so here's another thing. This, I need everybody to write this down. The legal description is what you're buying, not the address, because you will get confused and screwed over because sometimes people slick. So let's say somebody living in a property, they'll go out and change the address or pull the address off the property, and you like, okay, that's 268 on this side, and that's 290 on this side, right? Or 266. So this must be 268, right? They'll pull the address, and even the county will tell you in their documents, you're buying the legal description. So make sure you're checking the property by legal description, because sometimes the mailing address and the legal description may not match, especially on two families.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be buying 268 270, right? But the actual legal description is one thing, and the actual address may be 270. But for purposes of mail for both units, they may have like 268 270, just so they can separate the mail. So just keep that in mind. But one thing you do is go on there, look at all the properties, look at the addresses and everything. Either ride past the properties you're interested in, or just Google, at least do a Google Street View first, then narrow it down and then ride past the ones you're really interested in.
Mm-hmm. So to register as a vacant, so this is a note for me to do it myself as well,
Yeah.
because I be forgetting, because I just pull a permit and that buy me about a year and a half.
Yeah. So when you register the properties, most cities, Detroit has it too. Most cities have a vacant property registration, and each city treats uses it for different reasons. But the main reason is they want to know, like, if a fire, if something happens to the property, who do they need to contact? The main reason they really want it is so they can send you them blight notices to the right person.
Right.
But some of them is part of their local ordinance that it has to be registered as a vacant property for safety reasons. So you want to make sure, check with whatever city you buying a property in, and just register that property. And it'll help you out in the future, because like any demolition notices, they're going to send it to the person that's registered. They're not always checking county records right away.
Now that happened to one of my homies. He had a building. I forgot where, but it must be a hot area because the I guess he wasn't getting the notices, and they showed tore that boy down. It was like an apartment building on it, and it's like $160-something lien on that boy now. I was like, "Do you still got the land?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Keep paying your taxes. That lien just gonna be there." The
Yeah.
only thing is, if you're trying to borrow money, you have to take care of that lien first. But if you don't care right now, you just gonna wait it out. You straight. 'Cause I bet you want to ignore them notices no more.
Yeah. And then they need to know where to send all the notices. And like I said, you may have your deed can have one address, your tax bill can have a separate address, and then your vacant property registration may have be somebody's old vacant property registration. Sometimes they'll send it to all the addresses they have, but that don't always happen. So make
Mm.
sure all your documents are consistent. So when you go to register the property as a vacant property, when you do your property transfer affidavit, when your deed and any other documents you have to register, make sure all the addresses are consistent so they know where to mail all the information to.
All right, so a kind of a sidebar. So if you are a homeowner and you have issues paying your taxes, Detroit does have a lot of programs. So this tab I'm sharing, I'm gonna put the link in the comments. 80% of y'all is not gonna fill this out, but I'm gonna talk to the 20% who are, because for whatever reason we just don't want to do paperwork in the city of Detroit. So this is called the Hope program, right? Yeah, it's called Hope for Homeowner Property Exemption. This program is amazing if you are low income or if you are I think if you disable or get disability, Social Security and so forth. So if you get any of those government programs, you only have to reapply. I think every 2 or 3 years. If you just regular low income or just apply for the waiver due to your zip code, you have to reapply every year. I personally got the taxes waived on my house. It's time for me to renew, so I have to renew by I think December. They have you can schedule an appointment and they'll walk you through and help you fill out everything. They also do online, not online, but in person, like seminars and classes for this as well. I normally post them on my page or on my story. If you're on my email list, I send them out. If you have any seniors in your family, please print this off. Have Big Mama and Pawpaw sign this. Get them. Make sure they get all the paperwork needed. You probably gonna have to help them find it and send this in, please. Why pay taxes if you do not have to? Now, if you already paid the taxes, once you get approved, guess what the city gonna do? Send you your money back and you cash it and go to the LL concert or take Big Mom and Pawpaw to go see, the Whispers or somebody.
Right.
And they,
Well, don't say Big Mom Papa because I actually want to go see the Whispers and LL
I mean, me too, but
and Beezy.
okay, well, take them to the dang. I like blues too.
Yeah, see?
Well, take them to something like that, and then take them to what's the old folks restaurant? It used to be the Flame Emerald, but that's gone.
Yeah, I don't know what the old folks eat. No.
I don't know.
I don't know. Buy them some chili cheese fries. That'll sit them down for about a week.
Right. Or have them get dressed up and take it to Fleming's or the London or London Chop House. That's
Yeah,
real. That's uppity for us here. So take him there. Take Mama and Papa there. Have him put on his dive and his little linen suit, and they be matching and stuff and fly because they got some extra money to spend. Or get him a room at the casino. You know what I'm saying? And a couple dollars and let him live it up.
yeah.
All right.
Them
So I'm about to
nasty
drop the link
dollars.
for it.
Hey, so speaking of that too, like you can, if you lost the property in foreclosure in an auction, there's a claim of interest form you can file. I think it started in like 2021. You can put a claim of interest for the difference between what was owed on the property and what the property sold for, and get paid the difference. It's a process, but a lot of people don't know about that. So if you know anybody that lost the property and foreclosure, it's actually on their link on the same site, the Wayne County auction site. It's a form you have to fill out. You have to send it in, and it's a process you go through. But basically, they're saying that if, let's say, the taxes was $8,000 and they sold it for 20, you're putting a claim of interest to receive the difference between the balance of what the county collected that was due to them versus what it sold for.
Oh, also that works too, I believe, if you a tenant and your landlord didn't pay the taxes, right?
Yeah, it's a little different with that though, because so tenants have certain rights, but I don't know if they can claim an interest for the difference in the that equity position.
But it's some kind of program they got because I just read an article about how it's called the something buyback program.
Yeah, so the tenants get to buy the property. They're going to get an option to buy the property. The land bank does that too.
Yeah.
What happened is a lot of tenants don't even know the property in foreclosure until they get the notice posted. And then next thing you know, somebody coming to kick them out saying we brought the property. So they put all type of things in place to make sure the banks do it as well. They'll offer the tenants the option to buy the property, or they'll offer them cash for keys. They try to work with the tenants that's there. It's a lot easier process for whether it's the county land bank or bank foreclosure.
Mm-hmm. Miss Denson, I got a crib for you on West Philadelphia waiting on you. Big burnout, two family. Look, I can't buy nothing to either Parker sale or Balfour sale. Even though I can buy some right now, but I'm waiting because when those sell, then I can start my Joe Louis Greenway plan, and then I can start rehab on Kirchville fine. I done had Kirchville since 2017.
Yeah.
I just been keeping the grass cut, but I am gonna register that as a vacant because I could tell development about to start over there because they've been every year they give me a fine. I just paid a little $134 because
Yep.
if I don't pay it, then that goes against me when I go pull building permits. So I pay it, and then they just put another notice on there, so I'm gonna pay it again, and
Yep.
then hopefully by the next notice I be done did all the little violations.
Yep.
All right, but yeah, send it to me. If I can't buy it, I got some clients who might buy it, or Reggie might have somebody. 'Cause that's the north end, so is it a frame or is it brick? Because if it's a frame, I don't want no burnt frame. Unless you give me that boy for $10 or something, then
A lot of times fire damage don't even be that bad. It be like one room. If it ain't no real like structural damage, it a lot of times it don't be that bad. Even that hole in the roof they put up there don't be
Oh,
that
are
bad.
you talking about long what the Longview?
Yeah, that one. I think that one's pretty bad.
It
But
was, but I would have bought that if I could have got it cheap. I would have bought it.
yeah, but on average, most fire damage homes don't. When you really get into it, the work don't be that bad. It look worse than what it is.
I will say this on the builder side with fire damage. So when y'all think y'all about to go in these firehouses and don't pull permits, the city is aware that that house had a fire on it and it's flagged. So if any city inspector rides by and see that, they're going to put an automatic stop work order on that house until you go pull your proper permits. Also, if it's an insurance job, sometimes they make the insurance company or the home, I think the insurance company put the money in escrow, and then they
Demo.
yeah, it's like a demo fire thing or something like that, and they give you draw payments. I found that out on this firehouse I'm on, but luckily we didn't have to do escrow because insurance went on to cash the homeowner out, and not a homeowner just pays me directly. But I do got all my permits pulled and stuff like that because they was asking me, so that's how I found out.
Yep. And then if you buy a house from somebody that's like fire damage or something, you can have them sign off. Like if their insurance company or if they put the money up in escrow with the city, you can ask them to transfer those funds to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You was locked up with a guy who got a word key. Okay,
Everybody had a water key back in the day.
right, big
Quick,
old T
it's up.
thing.
Uh,
I'm sorry, man. How much does it cost for a new water bill meter?
a new water meter. Um, Usually, if it's an existing meter, a lot of times they'll just switch them out because they did a whole campaign because they wanted the new meters in there. But like if it's missing or damaged, I think it's like $150 or something. All the fees are on the website.
Yeah, cause on Balfour, I didn't have to pay for it. I just had to pay my $150 deposit fee or
The
whatever.
next year, so it's really that's all it really is.
Now, being what happened on Parker, Balfour I bought, it had a big water bill on it. That's how I got it so cheap. But not that is in my name because I remember to do all that from the beginning. So that one's straight.
Right,
But I am gonna call tomorrow. No, I'm lying. Probably Monday. 'Cause I'm gonna be getting my hair done
right.
for the concert. All right. Of course she stopped. Oh, we talking about your tenant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
That's the house. When I got done with it, I sold it on land contract too. That was the last one I brought. That was the very last one I brought from the auction too.
so I got a land contract offer on Balfour. They offered 30 grand down, 2,200 a month, 1,900 of that interest only, and the rest towards the principal. And then at the end of the year, when their credit get good, then they'll finance the balance. My
Mhm.
only issue with that was the house that they in now is the same deal, but your credit's still bad.
Yeah, they give you 30,000. Yeah, but the thing is, are they losing the house they in?
Well, they said that whatever deal the owner and them worked out with, I guess they backfired. The owner now is about to sell the house, so they backing out the contract.
So here's the thing: if it's a true legit land contract, the owner can't sell the house because they have an ownership interest in it. So they
Well,
must have did like a rent with option.
yeah, it probably not then because then he said his boss offered to give him 20-30,000 over asking price to buy, and then the company he works for do the land contract with him, but the owner was like, "Oh well, now I want 300,000." What?
Nah, that ain't. They don't have a true land contract if because once you buy a property on land contract, you technically become the owner, and the seller only interest is the balance that's owed. Because once you buy it on land contract, you can sell the property and have the balance paid off, just like if you bought the property getting a mortgage.
Right.
Right. So the seller can sell their interest. Let's say they owe the seller 200,000. I can come in and say, okay, Mr. Seller, you making 8% interest. I don't want to put my money in the bank. I'm gonna give you 200,000, buy you out. So now I want to collect 8% interest on my 200,000 until it's paid off. So that's the only thing on a true land contract, the way it's really structured. That's the only thing that seller can do. So they must have like a lease with option or something like that.
Yeah, and I think the house was in Roseville or Warren, somewhere east. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
People
But
confuse those two all the time. Because a lot of people think when you're doing a land contract, it's a tenant. No, it's not. Because when you do a land contract, you don't register the property as a rental property. It's not a rental agreement or a lease agreement. It's actually a way of selling the property.
hmm so I don't know. So I'm waiting to hear back from them about the credit part to see where they at. But in the meantime, I'm taking all offers. Then I got one from a lady from Jersey. I
Mhm.
read the contract. I was like, this lady out her mind. They wanted to hold me to take off 12 grand and include appliances, add power to the garage, fix the driveway, and something else for 180 grand. If you don't get the whole hell on, I will
Right.
get Section 8 4 bedroom 2,500 a month rent before I do that. And
Right.
and if that person who move in got small kids, I got 18 years of payment, so I'm gonna make more than 200 grand.
Right.
I was like, lady, next. I was like, I'm not pressed. Like, would I love to sell it right now? Yeah, but am I just in dire need pressed? No, sir. Not me.
Somebody is asking about the taxes being waived. The other thing too about taxes that if you're a disabled veteran in Michigan, you don't pay taxes. So
That
they have some requirements like you had to be honorably discharged and some other stuff. But if you're a disabled veteran, 98% of the times you don't pay property taxes in Michigan.
mm-hmm. Another question. Hope cover my taxes on my Strathmore. That's what I'm saying. Them programs work. We just gotta fill it out. Just like the water program is called, I think Lifeline or something.
Yeah.
To where they if you got a current balance, they make your balance zero, and then your bill is no more than like $60-$70 a month. So even if you don't think you qualify, apply anyway. Worst they can tell you is no.
Right. And
Or
some of them programs like Step Forward or some of them programs when you apply, some of the balances don't always go away. They're just deferring them into like if you sell the house or something like that, it may stay a lien on the property. Some of the programs are actual grants where they actually pay it off completely. So just read the fine print. But any help is good when you risking losing your property or getting your water turned off or even with DTE, you can apply for what's it, thaw they got?
yeah, for the winter.
Yeah, so should take advantage of all of that. If you don't have the means, man, don't have no ego. Go on and get yourself set up and get all the freebies you can and get back on your feet.
They got another program when I was first starting my company to get my taxes done free.
Yeah,
The I was getting that the Accounting Aid Society. That's the name of 'em, and they
yeah,
do business taxes and personal taxes free if you meet the qualifications. Of course, I met them. I'm broke, So I was getting my taxes done, my mama, my auntie, like
Yep.
the whole family, like for free. And I did that for years before I got a CPA.
Yeah, especially if you don't have like if you don't have a real complicated tax return, just get all the free services and it's better going through there than like some of these franchise companies.
Mm-hmm.
You
Because
know?
the Accounting Aid Society is backed by a lot of bigger CPA firms who
Right.
like that's they pro bono work, and then the people who doing the taxes are actually like in college for it to be a CPA. So it's somebody like overseeing them, kind of like when you go to the doctor and they got the person in the understudy or whatever.
Right.
All
An
right,
apprentice.
go ahead.
No, I was saying be like an apprentice program or something like that.
But the key word free.
Yep.
Uh, could you still get taxes waived to every 2 years if your income is more than the max of income 10%? Requirement says I'm not low incomes. So it's all zip codes. It's right on the website. So it tell you right here what the well, let me go pull it back up.
Yep. And it's household income. So keep that in mind.
I think I did I close it by mistake? Oh no, here we go.
No,
So
it's
here's
okay.
the income. So you can't make no more than $36,570, and that's to get 10% exemption. If you want full, you in the first column on the left, well, second column on the left, and then the first column on the left. It depends on how many people in your household, how many you can make. And if you're above, they add $4,720 to the income, and then you got to include your assets too. Your other properties, boats, campers, stocks, bonds, IRAs, any other assets in or out the United States. It cannot be more than $12,000. Hell, that's gone because a boat could be 12 grand.
Right.
They will verify,
Unless it's one of them boats sitting over there on one of them lots on Kercheval.
right, or sitting on some blocks, not those boats.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can claim that boat. That's gonna you can put it's worth $1.
Right.
So this is what you need: a completed Michigan Department of Treasury form of 5737, registered proof of ownership, a deed or land contract, probate court order, divorce judgment, etc. Your government ID with address and picture of the homeowner and all residents over the age of 18. Your proof of income for all members of the household, not your kids, of course. Example W-2s, pay stubs, blah, blah, blah. The 2022 federal and state tax returns for all adults is filed, and this is due by December 11th, 2023. The application is right here. You can download it. They got an email on here if you need help. You can mail the form or email it. I suggest both if you want, or just do an email because that way you know for a fact they got it. But if you mail it, just make sure you do like a priority or something where you get a tracking number and you can have them sign for it.
Oh, speaking of mail, real quick, this on a different. Just going back to the tax sale. So the winning bidder, they're gonna mail you the deed, and they're gonna record it, and mail it to you, right?
Mm.
A copy. But if you live out of the country, they're not mailing you that deed. You just have to go online once it's recorded and get a copy from there. They will not mail a deed outside of the country.
Sidebar. Can you talk about the property transfer affidavit? Because
Yup.
people be forgetting that they got to submit that.
It go back to consistency, right? So anytime you buy a property, you're supposed to complete the property transfer affidavit that with the city assessor's office. That's every city. That lets the city know who to send a tax bill to. Keep in mind, all cities are not gonna. If you buy a property today, every city is not gonna know you're the owner right away. So they probably won't see that deed until next year when they do their next billing cycle, right? The property transfer affidavit does a couple things. It lets them know the property transfer hands, and it lets them know who's responsible for paying the taxes, where to mail the payment, where to mail the statements to, right? But the property transfer affidavit goes to the assessor's office. So just because you completed this don't mean the building and safety department know who to contact to tear your house down or not tear your house down, right? So again, you got to register with whatever vacant property or rental registration. Your property transfer affidavit is typically for assessment purposes, but some cities will share that with other departments, or their other departments will look through the property transfer affidavits for properties if they're going to send some type of notice, right? This is different than registering a deed. The deed is actually recorded, and this document is just filed with the assessor's office. If you're buying a property to live in it, you're actually going to file a homestead exemption form, which is going to give you the owner occupant exemption. Used typically in most cities, it's around 30 to 35% less than a non-owner occupant property tax rate.
Hmm. So you have 45 days to submit it before they start charging you. I don't think they'll charge you more than a couple hundred if you go past that.
Yeah, it's 500 a day. 500. I mean, five. Not 500. Shit. Five. $5. I think it's like $5 a day, up to $200 or $300. I can't remember
Yeah,
the exact amount.
and that's 7 days, right?
Yep. So do it as soon as you get your deed, property transfer affidavit, go to the water department, DTE, contact everybody. Because the reason we're saying this is because if you wait 6 months to a year, you're going to have a hell of a time getting all this stuff together. And they're going to try to bill you and make you responsible for everything. So clear all this up as soon as you get the deed, while you still got that fresh deed saying, hey, I just brought this.
Yeah, cause I had got some tax bills the other day for some houses I sold. I contacted all them like y'all ain't feel out what I told y'all, cause guess who ain't paying it? Y'all better take care of this because this affects me when I get ready to start bidding on City of Detroit contracts. I want
Right.
to get a city clearance. So go on, get this out y'all name. So going forward, when I do my wholesale deals or sell my own turnkeys, I'm gonna do it for them and just copy everybody on there and let
Yeah.
be aware. Well, they have to sign it, of course, but you can send it via email or in the mail. I just been emailing mine.
Yeah, if you email it, make sure you get a return, an acceptance confirmation from them, and print that confirmation and save it in your files, and save that email addresses, that email responses as well.
I was trying to see if it was on here. It might be on the site before I click the link. But oh, also this form is not confidential. So like when people looking up stuff, make sure you whatever address you put on here is an address you don't mind people knowing. So get you a PO box or something to get your mail sent there, not your home address with your where you lay your head.
Make sure you check that PO box if you're gonna do that. But
Yeah, or get
again, make
from your PO box. Do
yep,
something.
make sure all your mailing addresses line up, because each department is gonna mail to the address they have on record. And all it takes is for one piece of mail to not go to the right place, and you go back and your house tore down.
Facts. But see, I check all my houses by where I live, so I gotta pass them to get to the freeway. So that's how I found out I had a notice on there. They put that big yellow notice on my on Kirksville. Kirksville red, and I'm
Right.
like, what the hell? But they done took it off because I paid that fine. So now I gotta pay this one, so they won't put it back on there. Anyway, so they said, go ahead.
The thing with getting notices though, it just attract too much attention to the property.
Right.
So like, especially if you working on a property and you low key and you going in there doing stuff on it at night, or you just kind of piecing it together, when you start getting notices and stuff flagged and posted on, now everybody that ride past know it's vacant, right?
Yeah.
And then you just don't want that attention on most of your properties.
You know what I don't like about the property taxes? You will pay your tax and they still put that big yellow notice on there. I'm
Yeah.
like, not Wayne County. Now
Yeah.
you make me look bad around all these old folks on this block. Like I don't pay my bills. They
Yeah.
may be late, but they're paid.
Right. So
Uh,
the reason they post some notices, they got to be like over aggressive with posting, because so part of the issue when we tell people you close on these, go get a title search too, because people can make a claim. That's why some properties will get removed. people can claim they never received proper notice on a foreclosure. So, like, let's say if somebody was sick and in the hospital for 6 months in a coma or something, and they was mailing stuff to the house, and or property is in probate, they was mailing it to the person as deceased, but the kids live in California, and they like, hey, we never got any notice it was going to foreclosure, or the person's out of the country or whatever. They have to show photos, timestamp photos. We was here on this date. We posted the notice on the property. We mailed to all of these addresses, every known address we can find. We mailed to everybody that might even have an interest in this property before we completed the foreclosure. So if you're the owner, that's why you want to make sure you have all your stuff registered with the proper departments.
I forgot. So with Parker, I had to pay Detroit Title to do a
A
what?
tax title search and pull the
Yeah,
FOIA. Yep.
yeah, for
So
you.
most title companies will not insure these properties. I'm glad you brought that up. If you fix these properties up and you go to sell them, now some title companies to say, okay, if the foreclosure happened 10 years ago and you owned the property and nobody made a claim, we'll insure it. But if you just brought it in a 2023 auction, you need to go have a title company pull a FOIA, or you can pull the FOIA yourself. It's the Freedom of Information Act. Basically, that's telling you everything that the county did to foreclose on this property, who they served, when they served them, and everything. And then the title company is going to look at that and say, we're comfortable with insuring title and allowing you to provide a warranty deed to the new buyer. Because if you try to sell that property to somebody that's getting a mortgage, you can't do a quick claim deed because they're not going to be able to get a loan on it.
Mm,
So you want to have like Detroit Title, they do a good job of it. They'll pull the FOIA, they'll look at it, and they'll tell you if they can insure it or if they need to do quiet title. Now, quiet title is a legal process stating you going to the court and petition and saying anybody that had an interest in this property, even though it took them 3 years to foreclose on it, anybody that might have an interest in this property, they're being notified. They got a certain time period to respond. And if they don't respond, they lose all of their legal interest in the property, right?
yeah, so that's what I had to do for Parker to well both, and it was I think it was probably like 1,500.
Yeah, it can go from 1,500 up to maybe like 3,000 and 3,500, depending on what attorney you use. If the title company has an attorney that they're affiliated with that does it, a lot of times it can be cheaper. But the whole thing is a lot of people. There was a lawsuit some years ago. People was like, "Oh, I see this person over here fixing on my grandma's house. We didn't know she lost it." Right? Well, grandma had paid. Nobody paid taxes in 3 years. What you mean you didn't know? Right? But now that they fixing on it, you got 80,000 invested in this house. Asia don't care. She just doing her job fixing the house. And you sitting here with a property you can't sell because somebody's making a claim that the county foreclosed on it without notifying everybody. So now you got this legal battle. So before you pay Asia the 80 or 100,000 to rehab the property, go make sure you do a title search and make sure if you need to do quiet title, you need to start that process right away because it can take several months to go through that process.
Yep. Hold on, we got some questions. Is getting your home Section 8 ready a hard process? If you hire a jack-leg contractor, absolutely. If you hire the right person, easy breezy. What you
And
think, Rich?
it depends on the work that's needed. I mean, when you get into like your roofing, your HVAC, all your mechanicals and all of that, but if you just like changing toilets or something like that, stuff you can do yourself, you may get away with it with hiring a handyman. The issue is depending on what inspector you get. So if you got a handyman in there and they put the toilet in, but it's not set right. You don't have the proper caulking around your plumbing fixtures and all of that, and it looks shabby. You're not gonna pass, right? So whoever you hire just need to be a professional. and they need to be meticulous about the quality of work they do. Just because it's installed don't mean it was done right. So,
Okay, about the inspectors. Now, I had this happen some years ago. This inspector argued my electrician down that he was wrong. My electrician went and got that code book on him. He's like, the
yep,
hell with what you talking about? This Michigan code with trumps. What you talking about? The only person who can trump my code is the city.
yep,
Because state, you have this Michigan state, the state of Michigan code, then you have Wayne County code, then you have Detroit's code. Detroit's building code or mechanic code trumps all of them because then it breaks it down and they put it on the city. So a lot of these inspectors don't know what they be talking about, and then you got to go get the book on them. Now they got an attitude and still want to fail you, sir. This book says like, and that happens too, and then you got testosterone and all that, and they want to argue. But I've definitely had that happen where we don't had to pull the book out on them.
here's the thing: the state has statewide codes, right? Basic like building codes and trade codes.
Hmm.
But each city, so like for example, Southfield still has like some septic tanks, um, and septic tanks and wells. Some properties still have well water, right? So in Detroit, it probably ain't any properties with a septic tank, right?
Hmm.
So city of Detroit code may be a little bit different than Southfield because Southfield has different issues in their city. But the state has statewide code, which is kind of like the bare minimum. But then each city may have their own individual codes based on an ordinance that that particular city passed. So your contractors and your subs, they need to know those codes in order to talk to the inspectors because sometimes you'll have a new inspector that's green around the ears and they don't know a lot. They're just reading off a list, put in a GFCI or whatever, plug, but they don't know the electrician know more about this than they do. So it's just different things. Your trades people need to really understand the codes for that city that you're doing the work in.
Right. And the
Now,
in Michigan, go ahead.
one thing about Section 8 and the rental registration in Detroit, a lot of times, so the rental registration means the property also has to be inspected by the city of Detroit, meaning interior and exterior. If you have your property Section 8 certified, they will only do the exterior inspection because they feel like Section 8 has already done their interior inspection and passed it, right? Now, that's subject to change at any time, but that's how the city operates. And other cities kind of do the same thing, but some cities, they don't care if it was Section 8 approved or not. They still want to inspect it themselves, interior and exterior.
Well, with Section 8 on mine, the city for the rental registration, they just accepted that and they didn't come out at all. So since they saw the
Exactly.
house pass Section 8, they accepted that and then I'm good for 3 years, so I gotta renew again.
Yep.
So like that's kind of dope. All right, hold on, got some more questions. Oh, I was downloading this stuff. Uh, I tried the accounting aid with business tax and they couldn't do mine. They were on my EIN. I had some. Well, when I did mine, it was in the beginning stages, so they could have changed the rules. And then I also was not taxed as an S corp. It was just Asia Denson Denson Construction, so it was taxed together. So that could have been why. So I don't know.
You had an LLC without the S corp.
Yeah, now I'm taxed as an S corp, but this was like when I first started my company. So we talking 2011,
Yeah,
2012, 2013.
because usually if you have a single member LLC or something, that money is just funneling through anyway. It's
Mm-hmm.
just another entity you have more or less for legal purposes. But once you start filing as an S corp or a C corp, then there's additional layer there, and those taxes can get complicated because technically you should have like some withholdings or tax withholdings and things of that nature. So a lot of times those free companies won't do it, but check with. I think Score is still open. I think they assist you, or they can point you in the right direction. Most most cities in Wayne and Oakland County have like a Score office, or at least they used to. I haven't checked into them in a while. SCORE, and it's usually a lot of retired business owners, And they have like classes. They help you with taxes. They help you with business planning, grants, and all that type of stuff as well.
All right. If you are getting your property taxes waived via Hope, can you still bid or that don't look right?
Probably don't look right.
Yeah, because you broke.
Yeah, you buying a whole nother house.
Right, you broke. So how you gonna afford the audacity?
Right.
Let me
Everything my mama name. No,
right. You
I
mentioned
could be.
vets can get property tax waived. Do you have to have been discharged with disability or it applies if you become disabled after? And where do you start that process?
That I don't know, but you can go on the state of Michigan website or just Google disabled veteran property taxes, state of Michigan. It'll come up and it'll tell you all the requirements and who's eligible or not.
I could ask Deshaun because I know he got his way because he
Yeah,
know.
I think you have to have been. I think you have to have become disabled during active service or while serving in the military. I don't think it applies if after the fact, but I could be wrong. But just check the website.
And as always, you can always apply and they tell you no.
I tell people that just apply because you
Right,
never know what they'll let fly.
right. If you buy a home from the tax auction, how do you fill out transfer affidavit since it's from the tax auction?
Oh, it's right on the state website. You get it. I think they give you a link for it, but you just fill it out. It's a PDF form. You can fill it out, then print it and email it
Yep,
in.
here you go. And I put the link to the PDF file in the comments too.
Yep.
So they got a check the box that you check on here. So they got transferred from. Oh, these are exemptions, so they don't count.
Yeah, like if it transferred from a family member, like I'm giving a house to my daughter or something like that, right? And I don't want to see the tax bills. Then she get the house, she got to file a property transfer affidavit. So they have a number of exemptions there.
They do got one that say transfer by redemption from a tax sale.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe they would check that one. I don't know.
But that's a redemption though. That's if you're redeeming the property.
Oh
So
yeah.
once the bank or I mean not the bank, but well that too, but once the county foreclose on it, the county technically becomes the owner. But if you redeem that property from them, there's no need to do a property transfer affidavit.
Mm-hmm. All right, what other questions we got? Got any hard money lenders y'all can recommend? I hear a lot of people use Lima One up here.
Yeah, and I use Kiavi, which used to be Lending Home,
Mm-hmm.
and there you usually putting 10 to 20% down depending on your credit. They have if you flipping, they have up to like 12 month and 24 month terms. I usually do the 12 month option. I forgot what the other option is. And their rates right now, depending on your credit, it can be anywhere between like 8 and probably like 9% or something like that.
That ain't too bad.
Yeah, and they loan you 70% of the money, 70% of the ARV minimum loan amount of 70,000, and they loan you of course, they loan you the money to purchase and rehab. Usually close within like 30 days or so.
All right. Do you or someone you know have to have a builder's license to work on these homes? So I'm going to give my answer and I'm going to let Reg give his answer. Technically, in the state of Michigan, anything over $600, you're supposed to hire a licensed contractor to do the work. Now, do you have to do that? No. But the only houses you really need a licensed builder on is the land bank houses. All right.
Yeah, and so if you're the homeowner and you're gonna live there, some cities will allow you to pull a homeowner's permit and
Detroit
do
will.
the work. Yeah, but they're gonna scrutinize you more because they're gonna question you. Like if you sitting there and you just put in a new electrical box, that the electrical inspector is gonna question the mess out of you. And then, like Asia said earlier, if you don't know the building codes when they test you, then you just spent a lot of money on materials that another contractor gonna come and throw it all away and reinstall anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
um, you can do the work. You just got to know what you're doing. Like if it's painting or hanging cabinets and all of that. But then you got to think about it too. If you buying this house to rent it out, I look at it like I need some different layers of protection, right? If I'm the owner, landlord, or whatever, and I hung the cabinets, and I've seen people do this, and the cabinets fell down while the tenants was there. Now you wasn't in the house when it fell, right? But I guarantee you, the tenants gonna say it fell on them, right? So it fell on them. Oh, who did the work? I did. So you suing the landlord, you suing the contractor, which is me, right? Which is you. So if I hired a licensed contractor in the field, they gonna sue me, but I'm coming after the contractor. Like, dude, you just got me sued, right? So those are the things you got to think about. But if you're just doing flooring and you know how to sand floors or lay tile, have at it, right? But just keep that in mind. For certain stuff that's higher risk, I would definitely just hire somebody else to do it.
All right, I got a sidebar to that. So on the contractor side, this is why I pull permits on everything I do. Because the tenant can lie and said it fell on them, which means they probably got their big butt up there and was on there jitting or something or
Yep.
jumping from side to side. But being that I pass all my city inspections to code, if you want to take me to court, I'm going to automatically win because, hey, I passed all inspections. My contract states this. Whatever they did after I passed is not on me, and then I'm good to go. So that's why I personally pull permits on everything. And then if I get a funny feeling from a client, oh, I'm pulling permits on everything. I eat the permit cost. I don't care.
Yep, and that's even more reason. Like some people try to not have their properties inspected and do the rental registration so they can fly under the radar. If you got that inspection and something happens and you like, it wasn't like that. So you can argue that the tenant caused the damage because the inspector was just there June 30th, right?
Hmm.
So the tenant caused the damage. The inspector passed this. It was permits pulled. Everything was up to code. Maybe you have photos. You have your inventory checklist, which you should have on every rental property. It's just layers of protection. Yeah.
Hmm.
The tenant. What was that? Oh man, it was something on one of the reality shows. They had like one of the girls did like a sex tape, and I was like, I hope this don't become a challenge because she was hanging from the curtain rod or something like that.
Oh yeah.
It was like viral. I was like, man, I hope these tenants don't start doing this shit as a challenge because I was like, man, because somebody hanging from something, they fall and break their neck or hit their head on that tub.
Or die, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
Blind myself.
so some stuff is just on the person that's actually using the property and the damage they cause, but you need to document all of that and have that extra layer of protection.
But yeah, 'cause that's why I got clauses in my contracts. Like we're gonna install everything to code, pass inspections, and we have no issues giving a 1 year warranty. But if I come and it's something you did, that's not on me. Like that's in my contract. Now the flip side of this rental registration, the landlords who trying to fly under the radar, that's been coming to bite y'all in the butt because y'all been calling me to trying to hurry up and come in here and do this renovation before the inspector comes because now the tenant by law does not have to pay you until that work is done. And then after it gets to a certain point, they put their money in escrow. And then I don't know how many months that is. Maybe Reggie know. Then I think the tenant could legally leave, and it's not an eviction or something like that.
Yeah, they can put their money in escrow, but here's the thing, most tenants don't do that. They just stop paying and they feel like they're entitled to not pay you. They still got to pay the money into the escrow account every month until a judge decides where the money is going to go. But yeah, they can't do that, and you'll be caught between a rock and a hard place because you're not collecting any income. Now you're forced to do all this work, and it's crazy. But the city will work with you, especially if you got like multiple properties. If you show that you didn't intentionally try to get away with not registering the properties.
Yeah, but then you got professional tenants who will call the people on you anyway because they don't want to pay rent. The time
Yep.
of the year this typically is gonna happen gonna be at the Halloween because we getting ready for the holidays, up to probably February.
Yeah, and ain't a lot of it's not a lot of evictions granted during the holidays around
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of that. Then the courts be closed on certain weeks and all. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Just,
bad.
just do it by the book.
Just do what you're
Make
supposed
your
to do.
rent. That's why you can charge the higher rent because you do it by the book. That's what
Yep.
it costs to live here. I'm gonna be a good business person, but I'm gonna charge you good business person rates.
Yep. So she said, so I won't need to fill out a property transfer affidavit if I bought the home from the tax auction. I think you
Yeah,
still,
you do need to fill it out.
yeah.
That's if you redeem the property from foreclosure. But anytime you buy a property in the state of Michigan, you need to fill out a property transfer affidavit with whatever city or township it is you brought that property in.
Yep. All right, let me see if we got any more questions. You got anything else you want to say, Reg?
I think we covered everything. Most of the stuff is on the site. It was something I had noted earlier. I talked about the deposit. If you don't win in the September bids, you have to notify them that you want your money back. If not, they're going to keep it into the October auction because they're going to assume that you want to keep bidding. So make sure you do that. Oh, if you receive a notice that you won the bid, do not touch that house. Don't invest any money into the house. Don't put your name on any property transfer. Don't even associate your name with that house until you get the actual deed.
Yep.
Because if you do anything, you liable for everything. If you don't own it, you go in there, you give Asia a deposit and tell her to start working on the house. They can withdraw that sale at any point in time, and they don't owe you nothing back but your deposit.
You know what
Don't.
else can happen? Your house can catch on fire.
Yep.
Cause
Or
that.
you can end up with squatters in there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do anything. And if you happen to go buy a house before you get the deed and it's on fire, notify them right away. Check with the fire department, see if they got a fire report, and get the actual dates so you can justify that you wasn't the owner at the time.
All right, I think I'm gonna do an example of a property transfer affidavit from the tax auction because this person is actually asking some good questions. They want to know what do you put on the seller name, just Wayne County, like
Yeah,
on a thing. So maybe we should fill one out and like,
Wayne County. Yeah, Wayne County Treasurer.
yep.
Yep.
And then I want to. Do they got any example on the site? They should if they don't.
Yeah, and the other thing is too. So you don't have to be. You can bid for other people, so keep that in mind. Like if Asia is like, I don't have time and all of that, I can go on and register. I'm the registered bidder, but she like, okay, bid on this property, bid on that property, whatever. But as the registered bidder, you're the one that's liable for everything, right? They're going to give you an option to wherever you register is where they're going to send the deed, but they're going to give you the option when you win the bid as to how you want the deed worded. So even though I'm the registered bidder, I may say, okay, put the deed in this name and it's going to go to Asia. When you win the bid, you're going to actually pay the balance online. They're not going to do a wire transfer. The only time they do a wire transfer is for people out of the country. So keep that in mind as well.
So what they have to do? Just pay online, I guess.
Yeah, because it's set up through like a Chase bank account. When you go in, they'll notify you. They'll say you have, I think it's 2 days to pay the balance. Now, if you bid on a property that's over 100,000, you got 2 days to submit 25% of the balance and 7 days to pay the remaining balance from there. You don't have to wait that long, but those are the requirements.
So what happens if you don't put that money up? Do they go to the next bidder?
Yeah, they can go to the next bidder and they'll notify you and say they'll say you're the next highest bidder. Or sometimes they'll just pull the property and put it in the next auction.
So if you
But
already
they
put your
can they can
deposit,
come after you financially and legally for the
yeah,
total amount though.
that's what
That's
I was
what
wondering.
people
Cause
don't
I'm
know.
like, can they come after you, or can they? Do you forfeit your deposit?
You forfeit your deposit and they can come after you for the
Mhm.
total amount legally.
All
Yeah.
right.
And if you got multiple properties, let's say you bid on 8 properties and you win all 8 and you send the money in on 7 of them and you don't send the money in on that one, they can cancel all your deals. And they can ban you from bidding in the future too.
Yep. Let me see.
Cheryl asked credit or debit. They will accept credit card payments.
Is it a fee? Probably a fee too, right?
There's probably gonna be a fee on there.
Yep. But that's one way you can buy houses on your
You
credit
can
card.
you can mail a cashier check in. They used to let you drop it off, but I think you can mail a cashier check in too.
Can you pay in cash on the fifth floor at the county office?
No, I don't think so. I think it has to be from. So here's my advice. Anytime I'm dealing with the government, I need a paper trail. So you can give me a receipt, but I need cashier check or some type of bank transfer or pay online. But I never dealt in cash. I don't want to be walking around downtown Detroit with 10 to 20,000 in my pocket. So you can call them and ask them, but I doubt it. Don't tell them when you're on your way though.
Right. Right. All right, hold on, let me see. They accept debit, credit, and ACH payments. Correct. I think that's it. Got any closing remarks, comments?
Um, that's it. I think we covered everything. Oh, when y'all ready to sell these houses that y'all gonna fix up real nice, just call me. Reggie,
Period.
Reggie'sRealEstate.com. Actually, you know what? To be honest, when y'all buy these properties, if y'all know y'all gonna flip them, and of course, I would love for y'all to come work with me. But contact a realtor that works that area and say, look, this is what I'm getting ready to do with this property. Or even, hey, I just bid it on this property. What's the ARV in the area? You need to know that you're not over improving the property. And that is the thing. Like certain areas, I don't care what you do to the property, the max somebody gonna pay for it, the max it's gonna praise for is 120,000, for example, right? It's gonna be a price range 120 to 125. I don't care if you put granite in there, marble, whatever, quartz. It's it's gonna be a max price range for every area. So if the area says this is what the values are worth, then you need to budget accordingly to say, okay, I'm not going to overspend or overimprove. Will the updates and the extra upgrades help it sell faster? Maybe so, but you have to justify adding that extra 5 or 10,000 into a property if the max you still gonna get is 125.
Right. All right. We got a couple more, and then this would be it. Who gonna buy all those vacant burger? Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, damn, all the Burger King's closed. I don't eat there, but still,
Yeah.
some.
So the way most of those work, usually it's a commercial broker, and we actually interviewed somebody that was selling a lot of Popeyes locations. So usually it's one owner, and they're leasing those properties to the franchisee. So maybe like it's one person that owns several Burger Kings, right? They're doing a triple net lease, meaning that the tenant is paying the taxes, insurance, and maintenance on that property. So, for instance, the Popeyes, they wanted like 2.2 million, but it was bringing in something like I don't know, like 100 and something thousand a year in rent. But it's all passive because the landlord doesn't pay anything, and it may be like a 10 or 15-year contract. So now that those properties are vacant, they're either just going to find another franchise to come in and take them over, or they'll lease them out individually, or they'll just start selling them off. But something like that, they probably knew that those Burger Kings were closing well in advance, so they probably had plans to sell them months ago. They were just waiting for Burger King to get out. But I don't know who's gonna buy them, but
Probably
um,
who bought all them KFCs back in the day? Was that Captain J?
yeah. Or
They
Nikki,
probably buy a couple of them.
Nikki D's, was it Nikki D's on
Oh yeah, the Coney
Yeah, start buying all the old McDonald's.
and the church's chickens.
Yep.
That
So
would be dope.
yeah, usually a franchise is gonna buy them, or the owner probably will eventually tear them down and rebuild them and repurpose them for a new franchise
Is the
company.
process for buying with the LLC the same? Do you have to register an LLC or tell them later, like you said?
No, it's the same. You just have to have, like, I wouldn't. So some people would do this. They'll bid and then they'll win the bid and they'll be like, put it in Jane, we be winning LLC, right? Well, now you got a deed coming to you to We Be Winning LLC, but We Be Winning is already taken. So go and register your LLC first, and then when you bid, just put it in that name. Because some people love buying properties and be like LLC to be determined. That's fine, but with the tax auction, you don't want to do that because whatever name you put on that deed is the name they're gonna send it in, and you probably just gave somebody a free property.
Mm. How you come up with we be winning?
Cause LL no, that was Run DMC that you be illin.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
first thing that came to mind.
I see what you did here.
Uh,
All right, couple more. What box on the purchase transfer affidavit do you select from exemption? None, right?
None, no, not if you brought the property, just the ones that apply.
I hope Starving Mark. Man, I need Flaming Emeralds to come back.
Yeah,
That was good report card day, baby. Shoot,
right.
that would be good. Some place called Papa's something. Ain't that pizza? Papa's Pizza?
Yeah, I think that's yeah, pizza. Papa's Pizza, yep.
I ain't never had them. I'm a buddies person. All right, y'all. Well, I think that's it. So thank y'all for tuning in. This was pretty dope. Thank you always, Reggie. I appreciate you. Hopefully I see you tomorrow. Hope you ain't way up in heaven at them, them $25 seats.
No, I'm gonna be in a suite actually.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yep. I worked my way. So what had happened was I I be playing golf all the time, so I got access to like a real kind of like a high end course. So I
Mhm.
invite certain people, and I just pay for it. And then like 3 days later, he was like, "I got LL tickets for the suite. You want to come?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" That little $100 paid off. I paid for your golf game, but yeah,
Man, what for sure?
around the golf. So yeah, that's
I
dope.
think I'm in the club seats.
Yeah,
That wasn't too bad. It was like 140, 150. I thought it was gonna be more than that, but I was like, that's cool. But they was like you could sit way up for like 30. I'm like, I want to see LL, you
yeah.
know. I don't wanna be like this.
I used to like to be on the floor when I was younger, but I don't be wanting to stand that long and be dealing with all the people and stuff and
Yeah.
all that. So the suites be cool or close enough to where I can still sit down when I want and
I
watch.
like the sweets because that food be smoking.
Yeah, yep.
It definitely be smoking. Well, all right, y'all. Thank y'all for this. This was awesome. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you didn't send the cash app, you should for me and Reggie so we can eat good tomorrow at the concert because this was very invaluable. Like we be charging people for this.
Oh yeah.
But thank y'all for sure. If you ain't got nothing else to say, Reg, we gonna end this.
All right. Peace out. Go buy some houses.
Right, do something. Stop. Well, I ain't gonna say stop paying rent, but if you don't want to buy, you can always rent from us. Oh, and if Big Mom and Papa want to sell and they stay where that Joe Louis Greenway at, holla at me. Because a lot of people over there is mad about this Greenway. That's fine. How mad are you?
Yeah,
What's
that's
your
true.
price?
Right. Right.
You
Here's the
got
thing though,
enough?
like people don't realize like the government, if they find that a property, if it's a benefit to the general public and whole, they'll get you out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just we haven't had any projects. Like when they built 75 through Black Bottom and Paradise Valley, they'll get you out of there. So you either gonna leave by getting paid or they'll force you out. I don't think this project is really big enough for them to force people out. I don't think it's gonna impact the residents like that. But
No, I don't either, but I'm just saying if y'all that upset about it, do something, move.
yeah.
Hell, we're buying.
Yeah. And the last thing though, if just really we should in this market, the market we had we really shouldn't. Well, we don't have a lot like we used to. Like Detroit used to have like 7,000 in the tax auction, right? But
Mm-hmm.
in this market, if you know somebody losing their home to tax foreclosure, and they don't have any other options, hope, or none of that, just tell them to sell it. A lot of these houses, while they're occupied, I don't think it's nothing that's occupied in Detroit selling under 50, 60,000.
Oh
So
no.
I'd be surprised how many people. I'm like, damn, I just talked to them about selling their house. They dragged their feet and they was making 80,000, but they lost it for 6,000 in property taxes. Like, come on now, we got to do better. If we gonna move, let us get paid for it, right? Don't just let the county take the house and then somebody buy it at tax foreclosure for 30,000 and come try to kick you out, right? So just be proactive. Tell people to be proactive. And the last thing on those vacant lots, we talked about this earlier before we started. Some of those vacant lots you see on there may be landlocked. So make sure you drive past the property because if the lot only so big, you can't build on it, or it's an easement of some sort, and that's cutting down your lot size, or it's a small parcel in between two other properties and there's nothing you can do with it but probably put a garden on it or something like that. So definitely make sure you be aware of those vacant lots if you're going to buy any of them.
Yep. That's my plan, just to buy a couple lots. And
Yeah.
then but I don't care if that, because I'm about to start studying for my demo license, so I'm gonna start buying houses with the roof on the sidewalk. I don't care.
Yep.
And just tear the house down and sit on my lot. At least I know I can put a house back because it was one there.
You're going to make money, you get your demo license though.
I know, because I be referring so many
Man,
demo jobs to demo contractors, and I'm like, I'm about to just start studying. So that's my goal over this winter, because the winter be slow for me. Get my demo license, because a lot of my subs know how to tear down houses. They just don't want to go get the license. I'm like, I'll go do it.
one day I'm gonna show you in the MLS. Like I'll search vacant lots for like Bloomfield Township, right? And it'd be like a three or $400,000 home. I'm like, why the house so cheap? And it'd be in the comments. They're trying to sell it as a teardown, even though it's a livable house. But people tearing them down just so they can build a bigger and better structure on it, property. But
Mhm.
demo is always gonna be money in that. Period.
Especially since demo price is high now. I remember when they was just tearing down houses for 7 grand. Not
Yeah.
no
Yeah. Because you got to do, sometimes you got to do the abatement for the asbestos, and there's so much more to it. So,
Yeah, but I said I'm gonna go and get it because I got all my woman on cert, so I just add that to my NICS code under the government contract and stuff. Especially with all this HUD money we getting, I tear them houses down and I come down cheaper than everybody else.
right, probably buying a lot by my house. It keeps holding water. Is that bad or fixable? Probably just a grading problem. Cheryl asked about the lot. So sometimes the lots are just water is pulling up. So sometimes it's just a grading problem. If it was a residential structure on there before, it's probably not that bad.
Yeah, it's just yeah, grading issue or something.
Yeah. And grading meaning the dirt level like is graded towards one area and that's why the water is pooling in like that versus
Mhm.
sloping away. But yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Reggie. I see you. Well, I'll wave from you from the club seat.
Yep, I text you like where you at?
Right. I'm like down here in the poor section.
Where you at? I'm in here with all these people thinking LL an actor. Oh man.
Look, if you can, I might have to bring me. I might have to sneak me some food because that sweet food be smoking.
Oh yeah. They be like, where you going? I'll be like, I'll be right back. Got a whole plate with me.
My boy did that at the Shields fight because he worked for Little Caesars and they had their own suite. So
Yeah,
he met me in the club. So he had so much food. He was pulling out pops and cookies out his pockets. I'm like, real friends.
that's funny.
I was like, real friends.
That's dope.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Reggie. I see you tomorrow.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. You too.
All right.
Bye. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. This was amazing. For those who sent cash apps, or did not, is coming across the screen. It is Denson Construct Serve. Those who bought badges on Instagram, shout out to y'all. Thank y'all very much. I see y'all next month. September's topic is. Let me go look. Do I got it on there? I normally put it on my calendar so I don't forget. I guess I did. Well, it's gonna be September the 15th, but I ain't got the topic on here. I don't remember. I gotta go look at the flyers. Nope, I ain't right on here. But it's one next month. I just don't remember the damn topic. So my bad on that. But yeah, hope y'all learned something today. Hold on, what you say? They tore the house down last year. Oh, gone by that lot then. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gone. I've been up here at this office since 2:30 today. So it's time to go. Deuces.